So I want to talk a little bit about exercise here too. You've got a master's in exercise physiology. You've competed at pretty high levels. What's the sort of single fitness variable that is most correlated with success in the backcountry? The type of hunting that you do.
It's probably not that sexy of an answer, bro. It's continuity. Uh,
Hmm.
the If you get in elk shape and then you get out of elk shape, it is such a yo-yo. It's so hard. It is make life easier on yourself, man. Stay in elk shape year round through continuity.
Hmm.
And as far as what it takes to get into elk shape, that's going to be different for everybody. Like it depends on your age, your fitness, resume, your genetics, your lifestyle, that kind of stuff. But I think we all could agree
Hmm.
that the lowest common denominator is consistency. That will get you
Hmm.
that trajectory that I spoke about earlier for multiple elk seasons, Lord willing. And you won't have to like really go up above and beyond or out of your way. You'll be ready year round. And I think
Hmm.
that's so important to be limitless in the mountains and be ready year round. You'll feel better. You'll probably perform better at work. You'll be a better version of yourself. You'll be a better podcast host. All that kind of stuff. Like whatever it is you're
Yep.
doing, you'll do better. There's no downsides to being fit year round.
Hmm. And that takes some of the pressure off of the upcoming hunting season. If you don't have to get in shape, you're just in shape already. And I'm kind of curious for somebody like you literally have it down to a science. Are you the type of person that builds your training around a sort of schedule to where you're tapering for hunting elk's opener, the similar way that somebody might taper for a marathon or something like that?
Yeah, no. Elk hunting's just zone two cardio for life. It's what it is. You're,
Hmm.
you're literally just walking around all day with a backpack on.
Hmm.
It's not that complicated. And I only add rucking and I sprinkle it in
Hmm.
maybe a month or two prior to season because I already get backpacking in. Like I'm hunting in the spring for bears in the mountains, or I'm scouting for elk in the mountains and putting trail cameras out. So I don't actually dedicate a lot of time to rucking or sports specific
Hmm.
training. I just do like a general physical preparedness, well rounded stuff, and sprinkle a little more rucking in. I work out consistently year round, and then if I'm leaving for a big long elk bender, like 30 days, 40 days, I'll work up until the second I leave. Like I'll do a workout the day I'm leaving. Um, I'll be
Yeah.
sore going into the mountains or whatever. But no, honestly, elk hunting is a break. My workouts are so hard and consistent year round that like when I get to the mountains, like I'm like, oh, I'm easily prepared for this. This is fine. This is almost just like active rest.
I think that's a good way to put it. That just long term endurance, that zone two, that I need to be able to go walk for 72 miles with 80 pounds on my back. You're not sprinting, you're not running hard or anything like that. You're not doing repeated lifts. But as far as those specific exercises, when you're putting together programs for people, getting into elk shape, is there specific lifts or movements that you tend to gravitate toward? I mean, I imagine deadlifts are a big part of it, and things things like a clean and jerk or something like that replicates some of the movements you do when packing out an animal, or are you not trying to replicate movements, but you're just that more of that general physical preparedness of like, hey, if you're strong everywhere, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, more the latter. Push, pull, squat, hinge. That's your
Hmm.
so pulling can be deadlifting, can be rowing, can be pull ups. Pushing can be sled pushes, bench presses, strict presses, handstand push ups. Squatting is squatting. Um, Hinging is truly like Romanian deadlift, deadlift. Um, all those just basic total body movements. If you do stuff that we program, every day's leg day, which kind of
Hmm.
sucks, but it's the truth. Legs feed the wolf. So we don't really segregate or separate body parts. Like not a lot of like bodybuilding or like we are doing
Hmm.
chest today. Like, no, man, you're doing a total body movement program. And uh, yeah, I found that general physical preparedness seems to lend itself the best for all the stuff the mountains can throw at you because you are walking, you're hiking, you have a ruck. Sometimes you're hiking fast. with lightweight. Sometimes you're hiking super slow with a lot of meat on your back. You might be hustling up a mountain to cut off a herd of elk. You might be hustling downhill to cut off, so it's dynamic. And I would appreciate a program that exposed me to a lot of different things so that I was well rounded. And maybe you're not like the world's best exerciser or hiker or endurance athlete, but you're okay. You don't suck at anything. You have strength, you have endurance, you have a good, strong midline, you have good volume of oxygen that you can take in and consume and utilize. And to me, it makes more sense to just be like, jack of all trades, kind of good at a little bit of everything, very few weaknesses. I think that would be ideal for the mountains.
Yeah. And then you kind of layer in diet, right? Like, I'm sure that's something that you get into because, hey, I imagine the leaner that you are, the more efficient you are up in the mountains. If you're carrying extra pounds that you don't need to be, that aren't on your back, that aren't an elk and aren't your equipment, you're just making life harder on yourself. How much do you go into diet and sort of that preparation of making sure that you're the most efficient version of yourself for the mountains?
I mean, it's really lifestyle at a certain point where you got to decide, do you want to eat for performance and recovery, or do you want to eat because it tastes good or it's convenient? I promise they're not the same. Eating things that taste good or convenient will basically screw you in the back end. Whereas if you want to front load nutrition and be intentional with what you're eating and then have a good approach. I would never ask anyone to do 100% clean eating. Like, be a human being, do 80-20. Like, if you're over at a friend's house for dinner and they're serving you and they serve something that's maybe not the most healthiest thing, don't be an a-hole. Like, you can have some dessert and stuff like that.
Man,
yeah.
I went through a phase like that back in my CrossFit days. I, really bought into the paleo, eating lifestyle and stuff. And I think that there's merits to it. I think there's a lot of merits to a low carb way of fueling yourself. But I was that person that would show up to Thanksgiving dinner and be like, no, I'm not going to have this, this, and this because I'm on this diet. I was that cringy person that was just a vibe killer at family get-togethers and cookouts and stuff. It's like, no, man, if you're training the right way and you're eating right 80% of the time, like you said, you can have a hot dog in a bun on 4th of July. You can have some apple pie on Thanksgiving. That's okay. That's not going to completely derail you from your fitness plan. And that's one thing that I don't have a lot of regrets, but I do wish I had a different mindset about that earlier on. But I like a lot of this stuff, and I'm sure you see it and you've probably experienced it yourself. When it comes to fitness, when it comes to diet, all these things, it's a journey. You don't know everything in the beginning when you first get interested in it.